Hello everyone, my name is Adrian O'Gurley here from Ontario, Canada. Oklahoma City Thunder Talk, Episode 1 for the 2015-2016 NBA season. The season has already kicked off and the Thunder are already up to a 3-0 start, beating the San Antonio Spurs on opening night, beating the Orlando Magic in Orlando in a cruciating double overtime, exciting victory, so to speak. That was just insane. And then last night against the Denver Nuggets in a 24-point victory to make the Thunder 3-0. And tonight going up against the Houston Rockets, a rival from last season, renewed rivalry with James Harden, obviously. They're starting out pretty bad. Harden is not himself. He's shooting the ball terribly. The Rockets got some injuries, obviously, with Dwight Howard, Terrence Jones. So maybe the Rockets are on the downfall this year. Maybe this is it for the Rockets, you know. Who knows? But we're not talking about the Rockets. We're talking about the Thunder. We will talk about NBA news later. But we're going to talk about Kevin Durant and what he's done already this season. He's averaging 30 points, okay? You see, yesterday there was a question asked about his minute restriction. I think it's bogus. I think you got to let... Kevin Durant is the best player in the world, arguably the best player in the world, besides LeBron James and maybe Anthony Davis, maybe even Russell Westbrook. Who knows? But it's Kevin Durant, and this guy is playing 30 minutes a night. Don't tell me that he's playing 19 minutes a night. He's going to play 15. He's not coming off the bench. He's not a bench player. This guy is a superstar. He is averaging 30 points a game. I know it's the first 3 games, but he's averaging 30. And this is a guy who missed 55 games last season. He missed 55. You know how badly Kevin Durant wants to play? He wants to score. He wants to help his team win a championship. He wants it that bad. We know Kevin wants it. We know Russell Westbrook wants it too. Russell Westbrook's averaging 32 points a game as well. He's averaging 32 with over 8 assists and 7 rebounds. Russ is going to get his triple-doubles. I see him creeping up. Just his stats are going to go up. He's going to get that triple-double. He wants to beat 10. He got 10 last year. He's going to beat it. But the rest of his team, we're going to talk about everyone else on this team who has made impacts, and everyone makes an impact on this Thunder team. You look at Enes Kanter. We know he's a defensive liability. We understand that. But offensively, this guy is going to get you 12 to 15 points a game, maybe 8 to 20, and he's going to get you 10 rebounds. That's what he's for. He's a great rebounder, and he's the low post scorer that we've been missing for X amount of years. We got that low post scorer. He comes off the bench and he plays his minutes. He's going to do fine. I know he's a liability defensively, like I said, but there's guys like Steven Adams that we got. He starts at center. Steven Adams is our starter, and he's great defensively. He bangs guys around. He's a great hustler. He can run the floor at a great rate. So that's why you got guys like Adams. And then you got Ibaka who can do both. He's the best defender on the floor for the big men. We know he's arguably the best shot blocker in the game, besides Anthony Davis. His offensive game is good. He can get 10 points a game. He can, knock down jumpers, mid-range to long-range jumpers. He even can shoot threes. He can run the floor at a good rate. So we obviously know what Ibaka can give us. Look at DJ Augustine. I think DJ Augustine is arguably the best backup in the game. He plays with that first unit in crucial minutes. He's a very good ball handler. We see what DJ Augustine did in his stint with Detroit and Chicago. He was a confident player. He knew how to score the basketball. He made smart decisions, and he's doing that with the Thunder already this season. So you got a guy like Augustine. You got a guy like Waiters who stepped up big time in Game 1, who made those 2 late-game shots against the Spurs. Okay? Waiters is a guy who's known who can score the ball out well. He's a good offensive player. He's getting better on the defensive end, and the guy who hustles. He's a guy who's going to fight every night, and he's going to get his shots in. We know Dion Waiters is a gifted offensive player. Anthony Morrow, another sharpshooter on offense. You give him space, you let him, stretch the floor. He's going to make the defenses pay for leaving him open. He can knock down the 3, especially, with Russ giving him the ball or Augustine or whoever, just to pass up and give some points up to him, just to, stress relieve and whatnot. You look at we saw yesterday, we saw a little bit of Cameron Payne and Mitch McGarry in the late minutes, obviously in the blowout, but it's good to get those guys on the floor. Obviously, McGarry, we haven't seen him because of an injury. Billy Donovan reported it yesterday that because we haven't seen him. He's dressed but didn't play, but he played yesterday. Cam Payne, a young guy, the guy we drafted. I'd like to see him more, hopefully, in the coming. He got a couple assists last night. Up and coming games, hopefully. So you look at this Thunder team, Andre Robertson's done well too. Obviously the numbers are better with Andre Robertson in the starting lineup. People have criticized of that with Robertson being in the lineup. But he's a guy he's guarding the best ball handler. He's guarding the two guy who on other teams, right? Like he guarded Victor Oladipo on Friday night against Orlando, and he did a good job. I know Oladipo hit some tough shots. You got to give him that. But Robertson, he played well. So in his offensive game, it's coming. It's coming along. He's going to get better. Okay, so, and Kyle Singler, just a side note, Kyle Singler, he got in the game yesterday, hit a couple shots here and there. He's a guy who can stretch the floor. He can knock down a three. He's a good three-point shooter. So this team is something to be very excited about this season, and I think this team is finally complete. I think it is. I know it is because, in the previous years we've had, I remember one playoff game against the Spurs in the West Finals, and we saw that there was 4 guys that scored the whole night. 4 guys that scored. And it was Russ, it was KD, it was Ibaka, and it was Derek Fisher. That's it. Oh, and Reggie Jackson. Almost forgot about Reggie Jackson. But besides those guys, I remember that playoff game. I think it was Game 6 of the West Finals in 2014, I believe. It was embarrassing. You need guys that are going to step up and they're going to score and they're going to produce at a high rate on the defensive side of the basketball. And that's what we're seeing in the first 3 games. That's what we want from this team. And just a side note, also Billy Donovan is 3-0 as a head coach. The Thunder are on pace to go 82-0. I don't think that'll happen. But I think they'll win 60 games. I think they'll go... I'm going to say they can win 62. I think they're going to go 62. They're going to win 62 games. I think they'll win 62. I think it's a good number. I think they can. There's no more divisions anymore. So it's, you want to get the highest seed possible. Obviously, the Warriors, they're obviously jumped out to a great start. They're 3-0. The Clippers are 3-0 as well. San Antonio, they're 2-1, but they're going to be up there. Those are the four best teams in the West. The Thunder, the Clippers, the Warriors, and the Spurs. The Rockets, I don't want to say anything about the Rockets right now. Maybe they'll surprise us later. But those are the 4 best teams. They're going to claw it out. I expect those 4 to be in the semifinals playing against each other. Hopefully the Thunder don't run into the Spurs in the semis. I like to play the Clippers or the Warriors. I like to face off against the Spurs in the West Finals because that's my prediction. I got the Thunder against the Spurs in the West Finals once again. This will be the 3rd time if they do meet in the last 5 years, I believe. They met in 2012. They met in 2014. Make it a 3rd time and make it the Thunder win this time. They won it in 2012. I remember that. That was huge. Obviously losing to Miami in the finals with LeBron James getting his 1st ring. But Thunder were young at the time, but this is now. The guys are in their prime. Kevin Durant's in his prime and he's ready to go. He's back. He's back from injury. He's healthy. Let the man loose. This guy, he's lethal. There's so many words to describe Kevin Durant because he's so good. And Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook plays with so much heart. You got to see this guy on the floor. If you're a fan of another team and you just watch your team, I recommend you watch some other basketball too and watch Russell Westbrook play basketball. You see the rebounding Russell Westbrook does. He's the best rebounding point guard in the game. Did you see last night? Shot went up. And Russell Westbrook came out of nowhere and rebounded one hand, boom, for a slam. And it's just unorthodox. It's so exciting to watch someone play with so much heart, and he just wants to compete every night and take it to you. He wants to rip your heart out, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, he wants to win as much as anybody. Kevin Durant wants to win as much as anybody. Enes Kanter does. Anthony Morrow does. DJ Augustin. This whole team wants the ring. And they can do that if they're healthy. That's the main thing about the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it has been for the last 5 years. If they can be healthy, they can win. Last season, we weren't healthy. We didn't even make the playoffs. We could have. We could have made the playoffs. I think we could have. Russ missed 15 games. Ibaka missed 18. For crying out loud, Kevin Durant missed 55. That was awful, and it sucked. But that's okay. It's a new season. Everyone's healthy. Mitch McGary's not hurt either. Anthony Morrow's not hurt either. We got the new additions from last season with Waiters, with Cantor, with Novak, with Singler, with the rookie Cameron Payne, and with the development of Andre Robertson and Ibaka growing, and Steven Adams. This is the team to beat this season. I'm telling you, it is. It's the team to beat this season. And if they don't, I don't know. I'll be speechless. Because the Warriors are on the radar. Obviously, the Clippers. We've always had good matchups with the Clippers, but we have their number. We're better than them. We're better than the Warriors. And we're better than the Spurs. I think. On paper, we are. And we beat the Spurs already. But this is the regular season. I know it's opening night and whatnot, but we beat them. And their roster is good. I think everybody respects the San Antonio Spurs. So, anyways, with that regards, the only other team I got concerned on the radar is Memphis, and it's always been Memphis because of the defensive matchups. Memphis has been the team that has, gave us problems on the defensive side of the basketball, especially with Randolph and Gasol, and they're very gifted on both sides of the basketball. Anyways, Gasol ups his game every year. We know Randolph, what he can do. Mike Conley's a little pit bull. He's very good as well. So they got guys who could just defend like crazy, and they've given us problems. So I like to see us play Memphis again. It's always a good matchup. It's a fun matchup, and it's a frustrating one, especially if we lose. But the matchup I'm looking forward to is facing the defending NBA champions with Stephen Curry going up against Russell Westbrook. I want to see it. Last season, we played the Warriors at home, and we beat them. We didn't kill them, but we beat them, and we scored over 120 points on them. I forget the exact number. They scored over 100 points as well, but we beat them at home with a full healthy roster. This was before the Cantor trade. Cantor wasn't even on the team yet. But we had Dion Waiters. We had Waiters there, and we had Kevin Durant, and we beat him. And I remember Kevin Durant went off, and we beat him single-handedly. I know we can beat the Warriors, and if we played them in the playoffs last year. I know Kevin was out, I know Serge was out, I know Nick Collison was out too, but Russell Westbrook would have gave Stephen Curry some problems, and he'll give him problems this season when they play. And he's just unorthodox. He's just amazing. But I will say this. I'll make some quick predictions here, wrap up the episode of Thunder Talk, and we'll talk more and have more upcoming episodes of Thunder Talk as the season goes along. Season just started. MVP, I think in the top 5, you're going to have Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. Both of them are going to be in that consideration. LeBron, but I don't think LeBron cares because he wants the rings. LeBron's got 4 MVPs. I don't think he really cares anymore, but maybe he does. He just wants to get the Cavs better, and that's what they're doing. They're getting better. They're starting off great as well, especially Love, and I know they got Irving out and they got Shumpert out, but they're still improving. They got Mo Williams now. He's stepping up his game. They got Thompson. He's stepping up. Mozgov. We'll discuss the Cavaliers another time, but LeBron, like I said, Stephen Curry, he's in that consideration as well. The Warriors going to have an unreal year too, especially him coming off his big season. He's going to add to it. And Anthony Davis, probably if the Pelicans can get some victories and get healthy, because they're not healthy. So Anthony Davis will be the other consideration for MVP. Maybe we'll get Russell Westbrook or Kevin Durant as the scoring champion again this year. KD and Russ, I believe it's the last 4 years or 5 years that it's been Durant's won 3 and Westbrook's won 1. The other one was Carmelo. But we'll get to the Knicks another time too in another episode of Thunder Talk. And the NBA Finals prediction. Well, obviously the Oklahoma City Thunder against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I got the Thunder in 7 against the good Cavs team that'll be there again. But if the Thunder are healthy, they can be the NBA champions. But for another time, we're going to discuss more NBA talk. This was just a hype-up video talking about the 3-0 start of the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight against the Houston Rockets. Fox Sports Oklahoma. I'm Adrian O'Grilly here from Ontario, Canada. We'll have more videos and analysis coming up in the coming weeks, and we'll see you soon.